Oh,
Well,
whoops.
let's rock and roll. Just don't spoil the baseball game for me. That's the only thing I hope.
Oh, I
to
won't.
Not have.
I know
happen.
that it's in the 7th inning. But that's all that I know. So
Yeah.
because it's on in the background. So if you can hear it, just let me know, and I'll make sure that it gets turned down.
No, we can't hear it.
We're good.
Okay, cool. I mean, it's in another room.
We haven't done this in a while, but I have tomorrow off because I got skull fucked yesterday at work. So, ladies and gentlemen,
Nice,
it is a beer episode. I'm drinking a nice 16-ounce Coors Banquet.
We need like a sound effect.
Coors Banquet. Yeah. So I haven't had a beer episode. All right, hang on. I haven't had a beer episode in a while.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. That's the beer
As
episode
much as we
theme.
can pay for.
Yeah. All we can afford is a beer.
Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
Everything else goes to Dre.
So I'm excited for this. So how are we feeling about Dune 3? Are we mentally and emotionally prepared?
Well, first off, I think it's a little insensitive for you to talk about your job when you're in an environment where not everyone has one of those. Okay,
that's true.
Let's be fair.
That was kind of ableist of me.
Yeah, it was very ableist of you. But I think that the trailer looks phenomenal. I can't remember if I told y'all. Sorry, Anthony, I'm just gonna hop in. I can't remember if I told y'all already. But like, I just read Dune Messiah. And I'm very curious how they're going to make this movie because a lot of it is a ton of dialogue and like not a lot of action.
Internal dialogue too.
Yeah, and it seems like they're just kind of gonna use some of the material and just kind of do a bunch of different stuff. So I'm excited for it. What y'all think?
So I originally thought that Denis was going to add some of children of Dune into this movie, but now I think, and we'll have to wait to see the runtime in the next trailer, but I think it'll go Jihad and then all of Messiah and then none of children, because Messiah doesn't talk, like it briefly touches on the Jihad, but there's no like scenes of the Jihad. So I think that's going to be the beginning of the movie, probably 20-ish minutes of it, and then it's going to go into Messiah. That's my theory. I don't know if that's the case or not, but I'm going to reread it I'm going to probably reread it in November. But I'm excited. I'm emotionally, I don't know if I'm prepared for this story to end, but I'm definitely ready to watch the movie for sure. Anthony, what'd you think?
I haven't watched the trailer. I probably won't watch the trailer. It won't do anything for me except for just build hype, but the hype's already there for me. So I haven't read the books, so I don't know what's going to happen. I kind of want to stay that way as close as I can to the release date, but we've got 9 months to go. We got a hot minute.
Long fucking way.
We'll see. But yeah, either way, anything he touches, Denis is going to be sick, and he's already proven himself, but I'm excited.
That's very true. Sir. Very true. Yeah, it'll be interesting. If anybody can do it right, it's him. I will say, I know I've said it a million times, but I really wish we were getting a Children of Dune movie, but I think it'll be a nice trilogy with a nice bow wrap on it, but man, Children would have been great. So
have you read Children of Dune?
Yeah, it's my favorite one.
I've kind of been debating it. So I might end up doing it before the movie comes out.
Yeah, you absolutely have to. Like, I think I don't know. So it gets super weird towards the end, and then I heard the next trilogy of the books is super out there. But a friend of mine told me, like, hey, just so you know, it's very different. It's gonna get weird. And I told him afterwards, I was like, that was way better than the first two books. And he was like, that's really surprising. Like, he was like, I've never heard anybody say that. So
I've heard most people dislike it phenomenal. The most, so.
I think you'll really like it. You definitely should give it a shot and then go from there.
Okay.
And then Anthony, are you ever gonna read them?
To read something like that it is an undertaking, but I want to carve out time so I could spend with it, and I don't have that time. I have enough time to read like 200-page paperbacks, and like those are ideal for me. And so that's really what I go through now. But all three books, aren't they like big novels? Pretty.
No,
intense.
So the first one's big, but Messiah and Children are not.
Okay.
They're not
Messiah,
big.
I think, is only like 350 pages, not even.
Yeah, it's very brief. And also, I don't know if you guys consider this cheating or not, but I've been picking up on my drive to work. I've been audio booking the books that I'm reading just on my drive. So like I can keep it going and then I can read at work and then audiobook on the way home. Because there's so many on Spotify. There's so many free audiobooks. So the entire Witcher series, which I'm reading right now, is on there. So that's another option too, Anthony. You can always throw it up while you're painting, something like that.
Yeah, I actually think I do have the audiobooks of that of Dune. But yeah, again, it's just something that I have to emotionally buy into and be, mentally devoted to it. Or at least that's the respect I would want to give that kind of story. I mean, same thing with I don't know what Stephen King with it, I mean, I've listened to it and that was phenomenal, but I just can't see myself right now sitting down with a book that dense and just going in and not having distractions. I mean, I live in a world of distractions here, so I mean, if I really want to carve out time, I got to separate myself and leave these kids alone.
Yeah, but it gets really like all the books are like heavy in their own right, but Children gets just super heavy, like politically and scientifically, and like I took a break because I want to read the other three, but I was like, this is just like weighing on my mental too much, so I'm gonna take a little break and then come back to it. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's Totally Biased Music. It's Blake, Anthony, and Trey, and today we're doing Billy Breathes by Fish, which is a Trey pick, and 2001 A Space Odyssey by Stanley Kubrick, who directed it. That was my movie pick. So action-packed episode today. Trey, you landed on, what was your category that you landed on? I don't remember.
He had Spinner's Choice. But like really, this album hits all of his categories. I think he had a jazz influence. What did he have? Deeply personal album. That's what this was. Deeply personal.
This was deeply personal. Yeah. This was the deeply personal one. And I chose it because some of the other ones that my keyboard's still on. Some of the other like deeply personal albums that I would have picked, I think wouldn't have gone over as well with this group. And we've already kind of delved into like Pine Grove, and I know how y'all feel about Bright Eyes. So we've talked about Fish a little bit on the pod. We've never done a Studio Fish record, and this was like kind of my first intro into Studio Fish, a band that I hold quite near and dear to my heart. And it's also always really fun to go back and like listen to the studio recording of a lot of these songs that I've like seen live. For the most part, all of them. There's a couple rarities, and we'll get into those as we get into them. But to kick us off, I actually have the fish.net like bio of the album. So co-produced by Steve Lillywhite and released by Elektra in 1996. Billy Breathes peaked at number 7 on Billboard and sold 430,000 copies. Yeah, I know. So on its release, Billboard magazine reported rock and roll journeyman's latest album is a typically diverse excursion into the edges of rock, jazz, and blues, highlighted by Trey Anastasio's adventurous writing and the band's improvisational talents. The album paints a colorful stylistic palette that will no doubt appeal to the group's large and loyal fan base, despite the absence of a clear radio hit. So a few outtakes that have been played out that y'all might be familiar with. They have a song called Spock's Brain, which I thought was, kind of apt for our 2001 A Space Odyssey theme. Strange Design, which is a great song. Flip, which I'm unfamiliar with. The Blob, and Grind, and a few different instrumentals. So there are quite a few like extras from this album. But I also have like the brief, like not synopsis, but like notes on each song. If y'all want to go into that as we go over each song, might get us a little long, but some of them are worth it. Some of them are not. So we can kind of play it by ear as we go through. Sound good?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So I'm prepared.
Okay. I thought so. Before we get into track by track, I just want to say I think this was my first. We haven't done a Fish album, have we?
Right.
No, we have not.
So this was definitely my first studio listen. What was really interesting to me was when you listen to like Studio Dead albums or Studio Bob Weir albums, like it seems like Dead recorded and wrote songs and then recorded an album, and then as they played them live, they found like, oh, this is where a jam fits, this is where a jam fits, this is where we can kind of make it work. Whereas when I listen to Billy Breathes, it seems like there's sections in each song where they're like, okay, this is where we're going to jam when we're playing live. This is the section where we're going to take this and play it out in a live setting. And obviously that changes from show to show and things of that nature, but it almost sounded like there's sections in each song where it's like, okay, this is where a jam starts. It goes for like 30 seconds, maybe it goes for a minute, then it goes back into the song, and it's like it feels to me like they had in their head, okay, when we play this live, this is where we're going to mix things up, and I thought that was really interesting. I was really, really impressed with how much I enjoyed it. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much as I did. Obviously, like, I'm going to prefer live recordings more. But Trey's a man of many talents. He's not the greatest singer. He doesn't have the greatest voice of all time, but he sounds great on the album. I think he sounds really good. They probably clean that up a little bit, and also he's a lot younger at this point. So it's different, but yeah, it was a good listen for sure. I'm glad that you picked it. It was nice to go down this lane.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I'd agree. I haven't listened to a lot of Fish just in general. I've been on record saying I really like Trey, as a kind of solo acoustic campfire kind of vibe. Like, that's what I really enjoyed, but this is interesting. I feel like there's a lot, and I'll be interested to hear, as we kind of go tracks, the tidbits about each one or the lore behind them, because it felt like there's a lot of inside stuff that if you get it, it resonates so much more. And if you don't, you're kind of trying to figure it out. Like, lyrically, there's a lot of that, but I enjoy a lot of the directions that this goes, and, showcasing each of these guys. It's only a 4-person band, but showcasing each of them throughout this music, but blending it together, it makes for a really good listen, and it grew on me as I kind of listened to it more and more. So yeah, excited to talk about this, but definitely a first listen for me too.
I'm glad you liked it. I was really curious how you would respond to a lot of this, just not being like as familiar with some of like the live tracks, and maybe even hearing some of these songs for the first time. So with that, let's hop into Free. Free is and this isn't from fish.net. This is just from me, Trey Seville. Free is just is a live staple. It's kind of the big rocker. It opens up the album with this like anthemic like guitar riff. You can hear kind of like what Blake was talking about, where they're going to take it and like where they can take off in this jam. The lyrics are very interesting. I love Free. Like, it's one of those things, like when you hear it, some more jaded folks, because it's played often, aren't as excited, but like I'll jump up and down. And I think the especially the second chorus, I feel no curiosity, I see the path ahead of me, in a minute I'll be free and you'll be splashing in the sea. It's just kind of a ultimate like big release, and I think the instruments behind it play to that same release. So this isn't necessarily a top track for me, but it is a live favorite of many people, myself included. What y'all think?
Hell yeah. I had it as one of my top tracks. I think it's a fucking banger of an intro track. Starts ripping immediately. So at about a minute 18, or I guess I'm at a minute 20, is when they start to jam, and Trey is fucking wailing on this guitar. Like, it is screaming, and it's such an iconic, like, there's such a distinct Fish jam band sound. Nobody sounds like Fish to me when they play, and I think it's in part the way Trey plays, the sounds his guitar makes is nothing like any other jam band, and like it's on full display here. And great lyrics. Obviously love hearing it live. I don't care what anyone says. Like, I'm with Trey, I'm gonna jam when I hear it. Like, I'm gonna get down to it. I'm not gonna be one of these people that complains about, a band playing a song over and over again, whether I like it or not, So I think it's perfect fucking intro song and absolute banger. Yeah. Anthony?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, just kicking it off with a guitar hit right off the bat it's a sick way to kind of set a tone, but really it drops off and then it kind of builds back up into that kind of, like, for me, Free and Prince Caspian kind of bookends to this album. Both have this like moments of like exaltation, like everyone at once, so like I totally get on board with that. And yeah, I can imagine it's a banger live, but I mean, you can't get enough of just everyone singing in unison at that same kind of note. It's powerful. So yeah, it's one of my top tracks. Free is. So yeah, great opener.
Yeah, the vocal mixing, like you talked about, is amazing. Like on the studio version, like it sounds just like echoey and big, and like like you said, everyone's kind of pushing it forward at the same time. From Free, we hop into Character Zero. Character Zero is a common encore opener or set 2 closer. It's kind of always like pretty energetic, relatively straightforward as far as like the jam typically will go, but it's always kind of like just a little bit of like okay, like this is kind of the end of the evening, and we're gonna go out with a bang. So it's only gone over 20 minutes one single time. That's the fun fact about Character Zero, and it was debuted in 1997 in Hartford on 11/26/97.
Those Northeast boys, Hartford, Connecticut.
Yep.
That makes sense. You know?
Yep.
I initially had this in my top tracks, and then I took it off just because there's so many other good ones. I guess I could keep it as an honorable mention, but like, when I think of when I hear Character Zero, I think of like, this is a Fish. This is the first song that comes to my mind when I think about Fish Live is Character Zero. I've seen so many videos. I've seen them release official versions on their YouTube of live, versions of this song. Like, I've probably heard it at every Fish show I've gone to. And not that it's a complaint. Like I said, I'm never going to complain about that because it's a fucking banger. So overall, a good song. But there's too many I had to put in my top, so I had to leave something out, So honorable mention.
So for me, this was like, it's interesting, Blake, you say that this is like a song you think of when you think of Fish, because I couldn't have told you what this song is called, but if you played it, I would know. This is one of those Fish songs, right? It's very bluesy. It kind of brings in another genre into the album too. But for me, I'm so curious of the lyrics to this song because it goes in goofy directions, but I never knew what they were saying when they say, what is it? What is the line? I meet the man, Malke, or I need, what is it, Trey?
I ought to meet the man, Mulcahy. I don't know.
Mulcahy. Yeah. I have no idea what that means or who that is or what it's referring to, but like for me, that's what makes this a Fish song. It's like, it's goofy, but there's things to dig into. And I think Trey, he's singing super powerfully on this song too. Like, there are soft songs, there are kind of middle of the road grooves, but like he's belting out in this song right here. But I'm always curious of who this guy is.
Mulcahy.
Yeah.
He's out there. He's out there somewhere.
He's Character Zero. And I think like if there was to be like a theme throughout, like lyrically throughout this album, it is like about like self-discovery and like, like the journey of like everything being open. Like I'm convinced the whole day long that all I learn is always wrong and things are true that I forget, but no one's taught that to me yet, right? Like kind of expressing this idea of like everything's open, like, kind of take your own path, which is a big part of like what Fish is in general. Also, this is the most performed song on the album at 263 times.
There we go. See, that makes sense.
The second closest that would be Free at 240. So I'll start shouting those out as we get through. Going into this, we get our first ballad, which I have a big soft spot for Fish ballads. Dirt is like one of my favorite songs of all time by Fish. I think I've brought it as a Rides or Dies once or twice. But Waste is kind of this like romantic ballad. It's been the song of probably thousands of people's weddings, if I had to guess. So this is just like kind of a straightforward love song. I think it's beautiful. This is probably like my third top track. It's just like this soft little like guitar ditty from Trey, and he's kind of just like laying it out there about how much he loves this girl and he wants her to waste his time with him. I think it's like a really beautiful sentiment as far as, like when you're in a comfortable relationship and like you just kind of want to sit around on the couch and do nothing together. But what did y'all think about Waste?
Mid. Thought it was mid.
Guy with a broken heart over there. What?
Bottom track for me. Not good. Get to the point. Wrap it up. Like, come on. Let's keep it moving. Like, how are you going to go from Character Zero to this, bro? You're giving me whiplash.
God, I hate you.
Not the time, not the place. So, yeah, bottom track for me. And here's the thing. I love wasting time with a band. I love sitting on this big comfy chaise back here, watching television, doing nothing with the dogs. It's great, but nah, not the time and not the place. So, no, not my favorite song, to say the least. Sorry, Trey.
Well, I have a different take more on the lines of Trey, because this song is beautiful. The lyrics are beautiful. I think it's perfectly placed. I mean, Free and Character Zero are they're asking a lot of you from these tracks, right? And then to kind of pump the brakes with this smooth ballad. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. And I think, a lot of people can resonate with that thought of I just want to share space with this person. I don't give a shit what we're doing. We're just together doing it. And yeah, yeah. This is one of my top tracks too.
Good. Blake, I hate you. Taste. By the way, Waste has been played 107 times. So not like a bust out, but not nearly as many as some of those bigger songs.
I bet
now we
it's
bump
been
into
played
Taste,
more
which
because hold on, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Trey, but Waste,
You're good.
like the first time I heard that song was sung by Dave Matthews, and it took me till this album coming out to realize who originally wrote it. Because I had seen Dave perform it a lot with Tim Reynolds and just him in general. But I think Dave and Trey have a long history together of either writing songs or like growing up in the like becoming something in the 90s, right?
Yeah. The first time that Trey played a show when he came out of drug court was actually with Dave Matthews. He went straight from essentially rehab, court ordered rehab, to the show to play with Dave Matthews, and then he went right back to rehab. Fun fact.
Yeah.
So they're very close.
Cool.
I think you brought that up actually maybe it was last episode or the episode before we actually talked about that.
I just learned it like a couple months ago, so that would make sense. Taste has been played 152 times. This is kind of the first, what I would consider like almost like a builder, where you can kind of hear where a jam would come in, especially when he comes in with the lyric. It's like, ooh, alter my place, step into space. You can kind of hear where they would like step out of the actual song, kind of maybe take it into a type 2 jam. I love the song, not in my top. I'm not going to have any bottoms. Well, I'm going to have 2 bottoms. But yeah, what y'all think of Taste?
I had it not as a top, but also not as a bottom. I think it's a good, builder, good palate cleanser, better than Waste, but there's other better songs to come after it. So it was kind of just middle of the road for me. It wasn't bad, wasn't good.
So I enjoyed this track. It's kind of a change of pace, especially coming out of Waste, but like this is like, in my opinion, the first real like psychedelic venture into sound and primarily percussion in this track. It has a lot of kind of rhythm changes, has a little kind of calypso maybe portion of it too, and then I think it kind of ends in this kind of piano land. But first, it is the first instrumental track on this album too. No, it's not.
No, it's not. That's the next one.
No, yeah, this one has I can see through the lines. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Not one of my tops, but an interesting kind of flavor of Fish in this album.
Nice.
Interesting flavor of Fish. I like that. I like that phrase.
Yeah, I do too. Moving into our first instrumental of the album, it is Cars, Trucks, Buses, which is more of a bust out now. It's good to get played about maybe once or twice a year. But in the early 90s or in the late 90s, was getting played all the time. So it's been played 89 times. Cars, Trucks, Buses is fantastic. It's like this, it's really weird. I also say like I say the phrase, like I'm taking cars, trucks, buses when I'm like traveling like all the time. But this is more of like a jazzy number. You get to see Fishman really like work his jazz chops, because John Fishman's the greatest drummer in the entire fucking world. And then it's really driven by like Mike's bass. And then you kind of have Page come in with these like synthy keys that are a little goofy and like kind of fishy. But what did y'all think of Cars, Trucks, Buses?
Bro, I don't know how you shouted out the bass line and the drums and not the piano on this song. Like, it's all fucking piano to me.
I said Page comes in with the keys.
Like I had this as a top track. Yeah, I had this as a top track. I fucking love it. I think it's awesome. It's super weird. It's super Fish-esque. Like, only Fish could make a song like this, man. That's how I feel. Although it does give some cadence to John Kennedy always calling Fish the Wiggles, because that's kind of what it reminds me of. It's like the Wiggles music. But it's a fucking banger. I love this song. So definitely, and the keys, man. Keys are it for me. He's jamming. He's jamming hard.
So a little bit, on the flip side, I'm not a huge fan of the keys in this kind of context. So for that, it's not one of my top tracks. But I applaud the energy. Like this track has a lot of energy. It's like a very moving track, a very like just get people vibing to it. And I could see them taking it a lot of different places. So that would be more interesting to experience versus listening to it on a studio format, right? But again, they're showcasing what they can do. So I do applaud that. But the keys are too much for me on this track.
Too overpowering.
Yeah, just a little much.
Fair enough. Moving into talk. So I will actually read the bio for this one because it's interesting. The fine art of communication comes in many forms. The one which sets humans apart from the other passengers aboard Noah's Ark is the ability to talk. Certainly, many other species have audible communication. Some even appear to be able to send messages telepathically or through color changes, but no other form of communication can carry the depth of thought and emotion that we feel for each other, as well as a good conversation. The song Talk is one of frustration. Imagine a father trying to share his thoughts with a newborn child, or perhaps a sober individual trying to speak with a pseudo-extraterrestrial being whose thoughts are surrounded by a cloud of mind-altering chemicals. Sometimes our words just can't get through that filter that surrounds the consciousness of a listener. Talk at times feels like these things can be cheap and meaningless. So I thought that was interesting. I like this song, but this is one of the prime examples of Trey, your voice isn't that good. It's just like it's even
hard to sing.
Yeah, and it's even in even in a recording, like it's still not really hitting the notes that it probably should be hitting. Talk is an official bust out. It's only been played 15 times, so very much a rarity. And I think we could see why, especially in the later years. It's only been played once, or actually twice. In Fish 3.0, probably because of Trey's aging voice, which at times can be beautiful, but at times can struggle. So yeah, what y'all think of Talk?
I just want to say I have had a theory. I love that bio because I know there's zero evidence of this and nobody agrees with me on this, but I'm convinced that dogs communicate telepathically. I've always believed this. I 1000% believe that dogs speak to each other using their minds. Like I can just see it in Riley and Ruby and the way they interact with each other. And like, I know that realistically it's probably just they can read body language and smell and feel energy. But in my head, I'm like, I can picture Riley telling Ruby to stop, like speaking to her, being like, leave me alone, because she always backs down, like right as he's at the point where he's like, I'm over this. So I'm convinced that dogs communicate telepathically. But in terms of the song, I didn't have it as a top or a bottom. I think you hit the nail on the head there, Trey. It's, it's a tough vocal performance. Yeah. So kudos for giving it a vocal performance. Yeah. Kudos for Trey for giving it a shot. But yeah, not my favorite, but not a bottom track either. You know, it has its place.
I like that take. I mean, on the talk, like we only have, give or take an hour to talk about this, but like I could talk forever about dog communication with people and how clear it is if you know what you're looking for and you know what you're recognizing. As far as like sensing energy, I mean, what is telepathy if not sensing something, being able to understand what something's trying to communicate to you? So I mean, it's more relevant than you think, even more, but that's what our world needs from a dog standpoint, is being able to listen to them when they're communicating to us, right? But I'll step off that soapbox and mention, this is a hard song to sing in general, right? So like I would beg to anybody who does dog on Trey Anastasia's voice. We know our Trey has a sweet, sweet voice, but if you're gonna dog on Trey's voice, try to sing the song. Try to figure out how this song should be sung, because the way it's written and the way it's performed, it's like I tried and it's not happening over here either. So, I mean, it's a beautiful song, not one of my top tracks, but like it does showcase things he can do with his voice. Maybe not do as well as other things, but he's putting it out there.
Definitely.
Nice. Agreed. We could have a whole podcast about dogs talking to people one day, maybe.
I probably should have.
Maybe we'll have like All Dogs Go to Heaven as the movie pick. All right, our next song is Theme from the Bottom. It's another one of these slow builders where you can see where the jam comes in, especially at the end. Like this song almost feels like it ends 5 minutes too early for me, even though it is 7 minutes long. because they take this one to some serious places often. Also, it's kind of a socialist anthem, like I feed from the bottom, you feed from the top. I live upon morsels you happen to drop, and coffee that somehow leaks out of your cup. If nothing comes down, then I'm forced to swim up, and we will rise, brother. And I also want to call out the last lyric that kind of goes into the jam. It says, "So I ask you why, if I'm swimming by, don't you see anything that you'd like to try?" Which is like the perfect, I think, encapsulation of like a fish show, whether that's different friends or different things you might want to try while you're there. It's a safe environment for you to kind of explore yourself and explore those around you. So this is my top track of the album.
Very nice. I just want to say the revolution is coming, and the anarcho-socialists will rise again. They will rise again. I had this as a top track. It's amazing. So fucking good. Not long enough. Love the lyrics. Love the jam. Love the ending. It's probably, I didn't pick an overall top track. It's probably my overall top track. It's just so well put together. It's a 10 out of 10. It really like perfectly encapsulates Fish, perfectly encapsulates this album. I think it's great. It's a great song. It's a timeless song. It'll never ever get old. So big ups to Themes from the Bottom for sure.
Yeah, I agree. For me, this is like the groove. This is the groove that brought me into this album. Like from 1 through 6, I'm kind of on the outside looking in, but Theme from the Bottom brings you right in. And I wrote next to this, like, this is the showcase track. Like, this showcases everything they do and how well they can do it. Everything from musical imagery to the grooves and the extensions that are in this track. Yeah, I love it. Theme from the Bottom, solid song. How much has this one been played, Trey?
Theme from the Bottom has been played 198 times. So it's a mainstay as well. Typically, yeah. from my recollection, it's like a mid-set track. Sometimes worked into like a set one closer. It's a big one.
Nice.
Moving into Train Song, for me, this is actually a bottom track. This one is written by Mike Gordon and his partner, writing partner, I mean. It's just kind of a little, it's like, and it's also sung by Mike as well. And while Trey's vocal capability can be debated, Mike's is not debated. He can't, the man can't sing. But he plays shit out of a bass and he can drop big old bass bombs. That's why we love him. So yeah, not a huge fan of Train Song. What'd y'all think?
Whatever, man. I thought it was cool. I liked it. I didn't have it as a top track. I didn't have it as a bottom track, but it doesn't sound like Fish. It sounds like I don't even really know who it sounds like. It almost sounds like a fucking Mumford & Sons song a little bit. I don't know. It doesn't sound like Fish, but I think it's cool. I think it works, and I don't think his voice is that bad. I don't know. It's fine. It's a fine song. So I can I didn't want to skip it. I was kind of like perplexed for the first minute. I was like, what am I listening to? And then I was kind of just letting it ride out and was like, all right, I could see this. So,
Yeah. Well, when I listened, I didn't have the credits in front of me and I was like, okay, this is either Trey doing an alien voice or this is somebody else, and then obviously Mike Gordon. But the first time, I mean, it took me out of it. So I'm like, okay, I'm not really a fan of the song. And I've listened to it a couple more times, just trying not to think about it. And then it becomes really interesting to me because these lyrics are wild in the song. Trey, what does it say? Does it say anything about the lyrics in this song? Like, I mean, obviously there's literal meaning, but for me, it's almost like somebody out, where a train is, but like seeing something that they cannot comprehend and they're not sure exactly what it is. But I just want it to be that deep.
Sorry.
No, it does not say anything about the lyrics that I see here on fish.net. Shout out fish.net, sponsor us. Yeah. Just says that Train Song winds a sweet and subtle tune, perfect for mellowing out any truly unruly, hyperactive set.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do Trey, does how often, before we move on, sorry, how often does Mike sing at these shows? Like he just accompanies Trey, or does he have a lot of solo tracks?
He sings Mike's song, and he sings, I guess, this. Not terribly often does he take like lead vocals, but he does occasionally. It's more so either Trey or Paige, and I would probably venture to say 85-90% of the time it's Trey.
Gotcha. So would it be fair to go to a Fish show with a shirt that says "Don't let Mike sing"? Is that fair? Where did that even start? Did it start fairly well?
It would. Yeah, I think it started Fare Thee Well when it said "Let Trey Sing"
Right.
for the Dead songs. Or no, it didn't. It might be a Dead thing. Let Bob sing.
I think it might have been before. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
and then
it might
just
be
kind of
a
carried
full-on
over.
Dead thing, and yeah, and now we have the let Michael sing stickers that I've made for Pretty Lights, and it's I still have a couple of those lying around somewhere. Moving into Bliss, this is the ever elusive ambient Fish jam instrumental, whatever you might want to call it. It's entirely too short at 2 minutes. This song is just lovely. Anthony, I really thought that you would enjoy this one. It is like soft and has like all these different textures to it, and it does a lot in those 2 minutes. I love this song. Not a top, but definitely close to the heart.
I like it. I didn't have it as a top or bottom. I think it's decent. It's definitely better than the other slow songs on this album. I will give it that. It's a notch above to me. Very beautiful guitar work here. Very beautiful guitar work. And it would be nice to have this like, sometimes bands will leave and then come back for their encore, and then they'll play a song like this, like at the start of the encore. It's like, before we go back into party mode, let's play something like this, and I can see that happening. I can see that hitting really, really well if they ever performed it in that context. So that's kind of how I envisioned it when I heard it. But Anthony, what you think? Was Trey correct in his assumption?
Yes, beyond correct. Yeah, this song did everything for me. In fact, this whole last half of, or these last remaining tracks all in sequence, really do a lot as a whole, but also individually. I mean, this song for me, when I listen to music, I'll kind of get glimmers of other songs in my head. And this one, the guitar work and the layers in it, listen to this song and then go listen to Zeppelin's Going to California. It is just a match made in my head, dude. It is so sweet. And it's already there, so like the sonic layers in this track are amazing. And then in my head, I can't not put those two together, and it gets even better. But yeah, Bliss, phenomenal track.
Nice. I thought that you would like it, and I agree it kind of does set you up for this last little section of the album. Stepping into that, we go with Billy Breathes, the titular song on the album. Got a little fun thing here. When Billy Breathes was released prior to the Fall '96 tour, many fans tabbed this song as the best song on the album and consider it the best piece of studio work in Fish's catalog. Up to that point, the studio version saw the band nail the difficult, intricate harmonies so crucial to the song's chorus, and the brief instrumental interlude was augmented with additional instrumentation and a breathtaking guitar solo that seemed to catapult the emotional level of the song to new heights. I absolutely love this song. It is gorgeous. The lyrics are absolutely lovely. There's a little banjo that comes in here, which is kind of, considering what ended up happening with Billy Strings and Fish and them kind of existing in each other's universes. Maybe a little bit of foreshadowing, even though Billy, I think, was probably like 9 years old when this came out. But,
he was listening.
Trey
yeah,
knew.
this one kind of
Trey knew.
Yeah, he did. He's like, somewhere an amazing bluegrass player is 9 years old in a meth lab. But yeah, this is just it's absolutely gorgeous. It really kind of settles you down a little bit. This is by the way, Bliss has only ever been played twice, so it's a big time bust out.
Oh wow.
Whereas Billy Breathes is also kind of a bust out, been played 66 times. So yeah, just softly singing sweet songs as we kind of carry into the back little leg of this album. What'd y'all think of Billy Breathes?
I was on the fence about the song until the end, and the bluesy rhythm guitar singing at the end brought me back. So I think it's a great song. I was on the fence, but it is very, very good. And the end really ties it all together and makes the song work. I think without that ending piece, I wouldn't have liked the song, but I think it really ties it together there at the end. So yeah, good song.
Yeah,
Nice.
I agree. I mean, the way that the vocals are kind of revolving around each other at the end of the track, I mean, I really love how they've layered that together. And Billy Breathes gave me thoughts of some of like earlier tracks in this album too, like specifically Waste. Like when I listen to Billy Breathes again, it almost helps me remember Waste that I already listened to early on in the album. So I really like that kind of factor to it. But yeah, sweet, sweet ending to that track. So yeah, Billy's is a good one.
Nice. And then I think that in a lot of ways, Bliss and Billy Breathes are setting you up for this moment that is Swept Away. An absolutely gorgeous sentiment, of that these lyrics portrays, like much ado is all I see, and I feel like it's surrounding me. The crowd intrudes all day till I'm finally swept away. Once again, kind of playing on some of those ideas of like freedom and like expression and being yourself and things of that nature. I think it's only a minute and a half or so, minute and 15 seconds. But it's a powerful minute and 15 seconds, especially that end moment where there's a lot of harmonizing and kind of some of that like vocal background is absolutely gorgeous. So Swept Away, definitely top track for me. What y'all think?
I'm giving a little bit of spoiler alert here, but Swept Away and Steep were my other two bottom tracks. It's like, I mean, we have Bliss, man. We slow it down with Bliss. We get into Billy Breeze. It's pretty slow. And then we're doing two more songs of slow. And it's like, we do get the payoff at the end with Prince Caspian, but like, come on, man. Let's just pick it up a little bit here. Like I didn't want this to be 50-50 slow, 50-50 fast. I thought we were jamming here. I thought we were a fucking jam band. What's going on?
We're not.
So Swept Away but here's the thing, Swept Away and Steep, it's kind of really only half bottom songs because they're only like a minute and a half. So it's really like a 0.5 bottom and a 0.5 bottom. It doesn't really count. So really I only had two bottom tracks, I think is how I see it.
Okay. I like this song. I think the back end of this album gives me very much like you're floating in the ocean kind of vibes. Like it's not dynamic, but it's just mesmerizing. The vocal harmonies that are in this track, it feels like a lullaby to me. I mean, I really enjoy it. Swept Away. It's on there for me.
Nice.
It's perfect if you want to take a nap.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
my favorite. That's my favorite moment of the album. Song. I think is Swept Away. Then Swept Away goes into Steep. They're kind of like an A-side, B-side situation, especially because there is some continuity with the lyrics. As Swept Away kind of transitions into Steep, and then it gets a little weird there at the end. What'd y'all think of Steep? Yeah, well, I guess Anthony, what'd you think of Steep? Since Blake's already given us his
no further comments.
His summary.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It has the end of the track has this kind of the water like a bubbly effects. Just like in the beginning of the album too. So like, there's themes. There are a lot of individual themes, but there is also a big theme in this album. And it does feel like maybe you're kind of floating out in the ocean. Just kind of trying to find your way. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Again, the lyrics in this, I think, really deserve a lot of attention that I wish I had knowledge about, because there is a lot of just the writing is really sweet. I really like it. How many
nice.
has these two been played?
Swept Away has been played. Steep has been played 33 times. Swept Away has also been played 33 times, and it appears that they've always been played back to back.
Gotcha.
So they've been played as a suite every time. Last time played 2021 at the Gorge. So a little bit of a show gap, as they say. And then we're stepping into the closer of the album. Depending on who you talk to, some love it, some hate it. I'm somewhere in the middle. It depends on where it's played in the set. If it's taken up a big encore slot, I'm not typically a huge fan of Prince Caspian, but if we get like a late set one bust out of Prince Caspian, I'm about it. Very anthemic. Trey loves this song. It's been played, let's see, 187 times. So it's steady in the rotation. But it is also just that classic Fish song. It has that, has their classic sound and classic feel. And that's kind of what closes out the album. It kind of starts the same way or ends the same way that it began. So what y'all think of Prince Caspian to close out Billy Breathes?
Beautiful, perfect, banger, no notes. One of my top songs. Fucking love it. I think it's great. And again, this is one of those songs. There's a lot of songs on here that like I just think of Fish playing live, which speaks to how much they have played these songs live. Because like I instantly, when I heard Prince Caspian, I was like, I want to know how many times they played this shit live because I know it's a lot. But I think it's a great fucking song, great closer, almost as good of a closer as they had for an opener. So I'm not one of these jaded Fish fans like Trey. I'm not sitting here trying to tell Fish when to play the song, when not to play the song. I'm just there for the ride. So when Prince Caspian comes along, I'm fucking there, baby. I'm ready to rock and roll. So
it's okay to have preferences. I'm not telling them when to do things.
Sponsor me specifically.
Fair.
Something that's fun to do at Fish Show for me, because I don't know these tracks that well, is like when the song starts, to start looking around to see, who's reacting and how they're reacting, and I'm sure this one gets mixed reactions from some people, but I love it. I think it's a great, again, it ends this album on a high note. And like, yeah, tracks like Prince Caspian, Character Zero, Free, they have these moments in there. And like, when I hear these songs, like I can hear a shitload of people singing behind me too, even though I may have never even heard these songs live, but it can, that energy can translate. And for them to have produced these songs, and then some of them not played for, a year or even longer after, it really speaks a lot to their catalog. And this is their 6th album at this point, right? So, they had put in some work already, but still they're going in different directions. And yeah, Prince Caspian ended on the ocean, I feel. Solid ending.
Yeah, by the time this album came out, they were kind of not like at the top of their game, like where the heights they've reached obviously now with Sphere and the incredible popularity that they have now, but they were at their peak in the 90s, and like arguably their peak as far as like being a playing unit. It depends on who you talk to. I love 3.0 Fish personally. But that wraps up Billy Breathes. No Rolling Stone or Pitchfork reviews. I'm sure Pitchfork will give it like a 2 because they probably hate Fish because they hate having fun.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
But Blake, you want to give us your overall rating of Billy Breathes, one of the greatest Fish studio recordings ever made?
Yeah. My rating is 2 lower than whatever Trey's is, just out of principle. So whatever.
Okay.
No, I'm gonna give it a 9. I think it's a fucking great album. And while it does wane a little bit and get a little bit slow towards the end, me and my hyperactive nature, I'm kind of ready to party. I'm ready to get going, but I think it works. It fits well. I really was surprised at how much I liked the Fish studio album. So yeah, solid 9 for me. I will be returning. I will be listening to more studio Fish, I believe.
Nice. Anthony?
So my rating's not quite as high. That was higher than I was expecting from you, Blake. But for me, this is an album that my rating has moved up as I've listened to it more. I don't know how I'm going to emotionally attach to these songs unless I go see them live. But for me, this album is a great listen, great first listen, and it still works 30 years later. And I give it an 8 out of 10 with room to grow for sure.
Fair.
There's just an emotional.
That's fair. This is very fair. We'll have to just get you to a show this summer. Maybe we'll go to Savannah. That's the closest they're coming to Birmingham.
You guys come out to Commerce City.
We could go to Dick's. It's on the table. Everything's on the table when you're on the job.
Everything's on this.
I give it a 10. Just kind of from like the memories that I have associated with a lot of these songs. So like, especially that back suite of Bliss, Billy Breathes, and Swept Away. Super powerful moment. And I've listened to this album many, many times, and we'll listen to it many, many more in the future. So it's a 10 out of 10 for me. So we got a solid 8, 9, 10 suite. And that's Billy Breathes by Fish. So if you're still with us, thanks for listening. Go to your local Fish show.
Yeah. And Trey, may I say, great job hosting and leading the way. You
Thanks.
killed
I was
it.
a little
Not that anybody doubted. Not that anybody was worried, but you killed it. Good job.
I feel like you had a little doubt. I feel like you had a little doubt. I feel like Anthony did it.
Not I. Anthony did text me beforehand and say, "Look, I don't know how this is gonna go, so strap in." So
yeah. Real quick, Trey. You and I and Blake's sister saw Fish in Tuscaloosa. Do you remember what year that was? Was it 2015?
That was in 2015 at Tuscaloosa Amphitheater. Okay. That was my first Fish show.
Well, mine too, I believe.
Holy shit.
And the third song into that set, any guesses, boys?
Prince Caspian.
Keep guessing.
Prince Caspian.
It was...
Was it...
It was the Train song. It was.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
I would love to actually go back and look at that show.
Yeah. If you find it, send me a link to it, because I'm curious. I'm curious as well. But
yeah, fun. Yeah, it's on... I'm sure it's on Fish.
Yeah, we got a bust out.
Livefish.com. Nice. All right. Well, now where do we want to go? I forget because I've done so much work
Rides
on
or
this.
Dies.
I just can't even remember. Yeah, Rides or Dies. That's
Rides
what we
or
do.
Dies. So right. I want to, Trey, you can lead us off, but I just want to say I'm really sad that you changed your song, man. I'm really sad you changed your song because I really...
Go ahead.
I was going to say that I really, really, really liked Cosmic Slut. And I was calling it Cosmic Slut the whole time. And I thought it was funky. Fair. I thought it was weird. I thought it was really cool. So Cosmic Slut gets a ride for me. But you can go ahead and intro the real song.
That's good to know. Yeah, so that Mahavishnu Orchestra album was going to be one of my picks for the last... I can't remember what Wheel of Fate and Time it was. Eclectic, it was jazz-influenced. Eclectic, yeah. But yeah, I sent that album and told Anthony to listen to it. But if you liked it, you should listen to the whole thing, dude. It's great. Also, a great gym album. Billy Breeze, not a great gym album. All right, so the song that I sent is a new remix from SCS9. It is a remix of their song Some Sing. This just came out a week or so ago, I want to say, maybe a little more. But there's a little bit of debate in the SCS9 community on if it's a good remix or a bad remix. Me personally, I like it. I like the house music. I'm not sure if y'all remember an incredible Some Sing remix by an artist named
I was just about to say. There's a little history with this song. This song.
There's a little history here, and that remix is fan-fucking-tastic. Listen, when the man hit, he hit. But yeah, what did you think of this remix of Some Sing?
It's an obvious fucking rides for me. Come on, man. You know how it goes. It's First off, I'm gonna be hard pressed to say anything STS9 is a dies, okay? Because STS9, they are cream of the crop, baby. They are special. They are unique, and you're getting you're throwing in a little house into this too. You're throwing 30-year-old Blake. This is his shit. I might fuck to this later. If you were asking 22-year-old Blake if this was a Rides, it was a dies back then. Right now, it is a fucking Rides for sure. 100%.
Hell yeah.
All right. So I will be on team this is not a good remix for me. I mean, having heard remixes of this song, and knowing the OG song, which is fucking phenomenal, it goes in a direction that I'm not actively gonna participate in. Now, if I'm hearing it live and it's spliced into if they blend in the original and then get into a little upbeat and then maybe go back to the original, now you've got me. But if I'm in this and it doesn't change, I'm just hoping for the next track, honestly. So it dies for me.
Fair. I kind of thought that might be the way you'd go, but I was curious.
But Mahavishnu Orchestra.
All right, Anthony.
They ride.
Mahavishnu Orchestra. I knew. See, that was the thing too. Is I knew I was getting a solid rides from you on that one. So, all right. What, Anthony? What did you bring?
This track that I brought, it's called "Days Gone By" this artist known as Eastern Sun. Doesn't have a lot of music out there, and This song came across through the day list of Spotify that I was listening to, and I fucking love this song. I love how it resonates, and ended up starting the album at the top, listening to it all the way through, painting through it. Really enjoyed it. Excellent, like sunset vibe music. I mean, it's a little heavier, but I think it sonically does everything that I would want music to do for me. So I really enjoyed it, and I had just found this last week. So what did you guys think of Days Gone By?
I thought this was very Anthony coded. Thought this was exactly the type of song Anthony would bring, which is not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just a thing, you know. This is an Anthony-esque song. With that being said, it is a rides. I do enjoy it. I did like it. I do see what you're saying. It is. Did you say sunrise or sunset music? To me, it's sunset music.
Yes, it was sunset when I heard it. Very golden hour, you know. But sunrise, if you're up all the way and getting that sunrise, then I think it works.
Yeah, too. I could like. We were driving home. We were driving home earlier, and like the sky was doing that thing that it occasionally does. There's like 9 different colors in the sky, and it was like there was reds and purples and oranges, and this song came to mind for sure. So it's a rides. Trey.
Nice. It's also a rides for me. I will say that like the beginning like minute or so feels like they're really just kind of like experimenting with whatever that synth is, and just like it takes a while to get into it. Like when I was first listening, I was like, this is going to be a dies for me, because it sounds like someone's just fucking around in the studio. Like, oh, listen to what this can sound like. And then you kind of bring the drums in, and then it kind of like takes off and it builds on itself, and it's a lot better. Would agree for a sunset vibe. Yeah, rides for me. Blake,
hell yeah.
Your pick?
So I pivoted and I chose Maniac by Kid Cudi off of Man on the Moon 2. So I texted Trey. I also got caught up working Sunday night late as fuck, and I put on Man on the Moon 2 and is like, you know what, let me rinse it, because for the viewers, if you don't know, for Anthony, which I'm sure he knows, but Trey and I are obsessed with Man on the Moon 2, and we were obsessed with Man on the Moon 2. We went and bought it on the way to Auburn. We stopped by at Best Buy, bought it the day it released, threw it in Trey's Hummer H2, drove to Auburn, listened to the whole thing, and that album became our lives, our personas. There's a license plate, if I pan up, on my wall that says Mr. Rager on it, and that was my license plate in high school. An ode to both. I believe we got blackout
drunk that night and started calling Blake Mr. Rager.
Yes, that was a nickname, as you do in high school. So I went back and re-listened, and I just have to say I chose this song because the Cage verse, which is verse 2 on the album, is so fucking good. And there's so many things I want to pick from it, but I could really just sing the whole verse, which I'm not going to do. But I do want to point out the I wear my shades at night so I can look in the abyss. I see something in nothingness, if you can picture this. And then the end of it is, before the waters to our knees, we can't climb the trees, wash away, you and I are the disease. And this album, which I knew back then, but I remembered re-listening to, is so fucking depressing. Like, it's so dark and sad, but also so good and so poignant. And like, I will forever love this album. I love Cage's verse in this song, so I just had to bring it because I've been listening to it a lot. So what did you guys think?
Trey, would you like for me to go?
Yeah, sorry. There's a little bit of a delay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was very curious as to why you brought this song if you were pulling from that album, because, I mean, I was the man on the moon in 2008 through 2010, pretty much, listening to Kid Cudi at night, headphones, like getting lost in that music, and I thoroughly love it and still listen to it regularly. This song, though, I remember when it first came out and I saw Maniac as a track title. I think it's in all caps. I can't remember, but I'd seen it on the album. I was like, oh God, this is going to be sick. And I hyped it up way too much before I listened to it, because it's really half Cudi and then half, the feature. I love Cudi's verse. I love the way he sings or raps on this song. I mean, it's kind of dark. But the second verse doesn't do it for me. So,
yeah, really?
It really doesn't. Yeah,
that's shocking to me.
Personally, like guys like Cudi and Wiz, I just want to hear them go. Wayne is the same. I want to hear them go, and especially in this type of lane of music where like this track is it's like an off the wall kind of track. But yeah, that's the reason. I mean, this rides because the whole track doesn't die, but like y'all, I'm ready to talk Man on the Moon whenever y'all want to do it. Let's do it. We can do 1 and 2 or throw the third one in. I'm ready.
It's definitely time for
Have we done Man on the Moon 2 before?
I think we did Man on the Moon 2, but we need to, if we've done it, we need to revisit it, or we need to do Man on the Moon 1 through 3, I think, and have an extravaganza. I think that should be if we do a live show where we're all together in the same space, we do Man on the Moon. Because I want that to be a special occasion. Okay. So, but I will say, Anthony, before Trey gives his, there are times where I listen to this song and I skip Cuddy's verse and just go to Cage's verse and just listen to his verse because I love it so much. Okay. Trey, what are your thoughts?
First off, I think that Cage's verse, and I typically agree with you, Anthony, as far as like kind of wanting Kid Cudi to steal the show, but like the way his voice balances Cuddy's voice, especially in this verse, is like really, it just goes together really well. Yeah, Maniac is an absolute rides for me. Maybe not like a top track on the album, but that's just because this album is so good, and this album is so thick, dude. Like, yeah, it's unbelievable.
Skips, man.
I got a long flight tomorrow, and I think I'm gonna listen to all 3 in a row. I don't think I've ever done that, and I've got like a 5-hour flight, so might as well.
You might as well
start taking notes now.
Yeah. I watched the I think it's called A Man Named Scott documentary. It's really good, and it breaks down, like Man on the Moon 2 being like a very coke-driven album for him.
Yeah.
And it really does, it translates that way too, but like so much more insight. So yeah, that's going to be fun. That flight's going to be nice.
Yep.
Okay, so next up is the movie, and I landed on Kubrick film. And I picked 2001: A Space Odyssey. There's a lot to pick from. I think this is Kubrick's best movie. I rewatched it. I had watched it. I think I've told you guys before. I watched it in IMAX, in the IMAX re-release when I lived in Florida. And I remember that was the first time I'd seen it. I was shocked when I left the theater, and my mind was just like fucking racing, and like I had so many thoughts. And every time I watch it, I have thoughts. And I will say I pulled 2 movies from this movie. Okay, and the first one is obvious, and it's Interstellar, which obviously this is the better version of Interstellar in my mind. And then the second one is Arrival by Denis. And the reason Arrival came to my mind is because Arrival, the whole crux is the aliens in that film are trying to give humans a tool. They're trying to teach them a language in order to enhance their species. And 2001: A Space Odyssey at its core is about these monoliths and a higher presence and an intergalactic presence, basically trying to gift humanity to kind of speed up their evolution is the way that I saw it. And obviously, like, I love everything space. I love everything in the cosmos. I love all that stuff. So it's a very thought-provoking movie. I will say I get the purpose of Hal and that whole everything that happens with Hal, but in my mind, the movie like kind of takes a weird detour with Hal, and like I understand his purpose in the sense that when you're talking about evolution and apes to humans and human evolution, that Kubrick is sending a message that this is the next step in evolution, right? Robots that are essentially human and act human and feel like humans, but to me, like, it just takes a weird detour from like the overall messaging of this movie. I felt like when I rewatched it, like I just felt like it was a detour that didn't. I get its context, but it kind of annoyed me. And I was like, I wish we'd get back to kind of what we were doing, because then it goes back to everything that happens after the fact. But it's visually super appealing. It's insane to me that he made this movie when he did. When did he make this movie? We had not even landed on the moon when this movie was made, by the way.
Yeah.
1968. We hadn't even been to the fucking moon. Like, that's how genius Kubrick is. So it was, it's always just a super thought-provoking and like emotional movie that like you kind of have to take time with before and after and like digest it. And it makes me feel a lot of things, some of them good, some of them scary, some of them bad. Like and he's really one of a kind director in the sense that he could do this, 60 years ago. I think it's insane that he has the ability to do this, but I'm glad that we went to this lane, and I got to revisit it, and I watched videos afterwards and like video essays, and I read about it, because every time I watch it, I just go down this path of like, I got to get further into this, and read about it. So I thought it was good. But what did you guys think, Anthony? I'm sure you've seen it before, right?
Yeah, I love this movie. This is a book that I'm thinking about reading. There's actually 4 books in this Space Odyssey series by Arthur Clarke. So I'm curious about that. But another movie that you could say pulls from this is Ex Machina. The idea of the artificial intelligence kind of taking dominion over humans, or saying, it's not as efficient, with humans. So it's an interesting kind of angle that it takes. But this movie, what I love is it forces you, because of the pacing and the atmospheric kind of like, rate of how this film is taken in from a viewing standpoint, you're in space. Like the sound is amazing, like when anybody is outside of that ship, it is dead silence. You're in that vacuum with the guys. So I love that dreamy kind of aspect of this movie. And I also, are y'all a fan of, so in my mind, this is why I think it was done, the 2 or 3 minutes of black screens post intermission and at the beginning of this movie, in my opinion, it really like kind of calibrates your senses for where you're about to spend the next 2 or so hours in space. But really enjoy this movie. I haven't seen the sequel yet, and I'm waited till after this podcast. I might watch it tomorrow.
I didn't know there was a sequel. What the fuck?
It's 2010, The Year We Make Contact. That's what it's called. And I haven't seen it. It was made in the 80s. It was made in the 80s, and the little bit that I did read was just that it doesn't hold a candle to 2001, but like what the fuck really is, so true. I don't want to let that jade my opinion of it, but I'm going in pretty open to it.
But I don't like that, because like the ending is so ambiguous.
As
like I like the ending the way it is, interesting.
I think that just like if you have a story, which like I say, he wrote 4 novels, and this one he wrote kind of as they're making this film. So it was a lot happening in real time. I think that's what really makes this even more magical. But if you've got stories, you're going to do them. So Dune Children, it'll happen. I would bank on it. Trey, what do you think?
I hope so.
The first time I saw this movie was actually in high school. I was in this class called The Art of Cinema, which was like, I think they only did it one time at Pelham. I don't know if they kept doing it, but it was
they kept it.
Oh, they did?
They kept it for sure.
Yeah, it was with the theater teacher. And we like would watch about 30 to 45 minutes of the movie, and then the next class we would like talk about like what we watched before, and we kind of like went through the movie that way. And I remember being like really, really confused, because when you watch this movie like in pieces, it's very there's so much happening that leads into like everything that happens later. It's hard to like kind of remember where you came from, which wasn't always the case with movies like in that class. But rewatching it, this movie is just an absolute masterclass, and like all I could think of when I'm watching it is like how much we've gained like from like different space movies, and just different like stories in general, like even more humanistic stories on like technology taking over, or like even like Planet of the Apes and things like that, where it's all kind of feeds back to this script and this thing that Kubrick wrote. When I was looking through some like info for this, I did not realize the book was not published till after the movie came out. So they wrote the book and the movie at the same time, which is really, really interesting. It's not something that I'm familiar with like outside of this. And then obviously like the visuals, like looking at this and being like, they made this, 60 years ago almost now, is fucking
so
insane.
Crazy, dude.
It's
so
absolutely
crazy.
Insane what they did with the technology at the time.
Like at all.
Yeah. Like it still looked really good. I would love to go see this in a theater if there was ever any kind of like, anniversary release. I'm sure it happens relatively often in probably smaller theaters. But yeah, it's 2001: A Space Odyssey. There's really there's not that much that you can say about it that hasn't already been said, you know. Especially like the thing with the monolith at the end, and like him like going back and becoming a fetus, and like it's just like really psychedelic and very open to interpretation, I think. Although so many people have like interpreted it as they will.
Well, two things. When I saw it in Florida in IMAX, I had to drive like 45 minutes to get to the theater where they were showing it, because there's like one theater within a fucking 50-mile radius of me was showing it, and they had an intermission, which I thought was super interesting. And yeah, the scene where he's, you know, traveling through the, however you want to interpret it, like
The void.
that is so, yeah, it is so similar to the Interstellar scene where he's going through a similar aspect of it. So a lot,
Yeah.
you know, that's what's so crazy about this movie is it's just, when you think of timeless movies, it's like you have to look back at what people pull from them, and how long into the future people continue to pull ideas and themes and visuals from it. And yeah, like you said, the fact that it was 60 years ago, dude, it doesn't feel like it. It feels like it was just made. Like, it just doesn't age. It's crazy to me. It's that is truly mind blowing to me. Like, it looks more recent than The Shining does, and The Shining was however many years after it, dude.
Right.
Like 30 years, 20 years after it. It's crazy.
Well, and the music's iconic too. You know, I mean, like I would only assume that they were the ones to blend classical music with like spatial shots, you know, and it works perfectly. It's super elegant, super mesmerizing. So yeah, but I remember knowing that music before I ever saw this movie. Like in other contexts, whether they were parroting, you know, this movie or spoofing it or in some fashion. But yeah, iconic music too, iconic score.
True.
Would you like to know
Very
how many
true.
times Fish has played also Sprock Zarathustra, also known as 2001 in the Fish world?
Yeah.
278 times. Fish has
Wow.
played-
Fuck.
this is like a mainstay Fish, and it's fucking great every single time, and no one disagrees. 2001
There
is
we go.
awesome. They take it in
There
all
we
kinds
go.
of places. So, Anthony, if you want me to line you up a few 2001s to listen to, I'm more than happy to do that.
Okay. All right.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Okay, so we are not doing Wheel of Fate in time. We're everybody this coming episodes, everybody gets a pick that they've been wanting to bring for a while. So Trey gets a movie pick he's been wanting to bring for a while. Anthony gets an album pick he has been wanting to bring for a while, and we'll make our rounds through everybody. And then we'll go back to the Wheel of Fate in time. So let's start with Anthony's album pick. Anthony, what do you got for us?
Okay, so I had made a list for myself because I was like, it's hard for me to choose right now because I know I'm going to think of other albums. So I made a list, and I'm just going to give you the list, and then I'll tell you which one we're going to listen to. But Artifact by Soundtribe was on this list. There's a Tycho album that's on this list. I was really struggling, but I was going to pick, there's a Perfect Circle album that's basically a war protest album of all covers. It's really beautiful, but we're not going to do any of those. What we're going to listen to, it's a trip hop album. Okay. So Blake, when you listen to this, don't wait for anything crazy to happen. Just get lost in these sounds. But the album's called Mezzanine by Massive Attack. I think it's really gonna, if you let it,
I know Massive Attack.
yeah,
I know Massive Attack.
let it drive your head and just get lost in the groove of trip hop. So that'll be fun.
All right, Trey, what do you got
All
for
right,
movie?
that will be fun. All right, not necessarily one I've wanted to bring for a long time, but one that we've talked about recently, and then you said you'd never seen before. Anthony, I don't know if you've ever seen it or not, but we are going to watch Heat with Al Pacino.
Yeah.
An absolute. So I can't remember if I've talked about this before, but towards the tail end of me living in Birmingham, we had a movie club where we would watch a movie every Wednesday. Me, Zach, and our friend Zach Courtney, and our friend Nathaniel. And this was one. Nathaniel usually would bring some very like off the wall movies. But one night he was like, "We're gonna watch this movie. It's called Heat." And he's kind of like a big film guy. And when I saw what it was, I was like,
Nathan Steele. Is that Steele? Steele?
No,
Is
different
his
guy.
last name Steele? Oh, okay.
No, different guy. And so you don't know him. And so I was very curious, and I watched it, and I was absolutely blown away. This movie's fantastic, and I'll leave it at that.
Hell yeah.
I'm excited.
Cool.
So
It's
Blake,
about damn time.
You haven't seen Heat, or have you?
Never
Okay.
seen it.
Anthony, have you seen it?
I kept going.
Yeah, I've seen it. But it's
I
been a
keep
minute.
going
So I'm
past
excited.
it on my. I keep going past it on Netflix, and I see 2 hours and 50 minutes, and I'm like, not right now. That's too fucking much. Not right now. So
I know
we'll
that
come
feeling.
back to it. I'm excited though. I'm very excited.
All right.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Sweet. Well, good shit, boys. I'm excited for the next episode. Hope everybody enjoyed Billy Breathes, and we will see you guys when we see you.
Peace.
Peace.